Welcome to the Space for Grace podcast, a place where you can come as you are, hear genuine conversations about women's holistic health, and leave educated, inspired, and encouraged about your health and fitness journey. Get ready to find freedom to flourish in your physical, mental, and spiritual health. I'm your host, MK, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Space for Grace. Hey guys, I'm back with another solo episode. Today I want to talk to you guys about the winter arc, that whole viral trend, what it means, and if it is for you or not. But first, let's just catch up a little bit. I feel like it's been forever since I've just chatted with you guys on here. So just wanted to give a few fun updates before we get into it. So it has suddenly gotten so cold here in Tennessee. I'm in Franklin, Tennessee, and it was like in the 80s a couple weeks ago, and now all of a sudden it is so cold I had to turn my heat on in the apartment. If you're watching on video, you can see I'm all bundled up. I have a blanket in my lap, and it is chilly. And also, over the last few weeks, we joined a new gym. We joined the YMCA here and it's actually really nice. And so Brett and I both have over the last few weeks really put our heads down. We've been super disciplined with our gym routines, and we're actually really enjoying going to the gym and sticking to our split. So right now I'm doing a 4-day split for strength training. I'm doing like a quad focus leg day, a push day, a pull day, and a glute focused leg day, glute and hamstrings. And I've really enjoyed doing that this month. I may do it all of this month and next month before I kind of switch things up because I'm really liking it. And I feel like it's just the perfect amount for maintaining and just toning up a little bit more. Um, and so I'm really enjoying that. But one of the things that we're going to talk about with the winter arc is like being disciplined to your gym routine. And so when I was like hearing about the winter arc and starting to research it, I was like, oh, I've kind of already like been doing this the last few weeks just without even knowing I was doing a trend called the winter arc. So one of the other things that changed is I got another part-time job. So I'm still doing Madison coaching and all of the things. But I'm also a health coach at a chiropractic office now part-time. And when I decided to commit to that, I bought a big what are they called? Desk planner calendar so I could see the whole month like planned out in front of me. And I was like, okay, just because I'm going to be more busy with, this job and my business, and Brett and I are also starting a wedding photography business together, which he's already been doing it for a long time, but I'm like joining him in that. I have the walking group, I have this podcast, I serve at church, so there's just a lot of different moving pieces going on. And so when I decided to take the part-time job, I was like, okay, I want to still be disciplined with my business, with my fitness routine, with all these, daily habits that are important to me. And so I got the calendar and I blocked everything out and wrote down on each day, like when I was working for the chiro, when I was working for myself, when I would go to the gym, I literally wrote on my calendar, like, which days I would be able to go do my workouts the best and which days, just depending on the week and what was going on, were better for like rest days or walking active rest days. And that has been so helpful. I'm so glad that I got the big desk calendar and wrote down when I was going to go to the gym because that's been just a game changer. Like it takes the anxiety and the day to day trying to figure out, oh, do I have time to go to the gym today? When am I going to go today? It takes that pressure off and you've like already pre-planned, okay, this is when I'm going and what I'm doing that day. And so even though I'm not able to go like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, every single week. I'm still going 4 days a week. It just might be that some days I go on a Sunday instead of a Monday, or I go on a Thursday one week and then it's a Wednesday the following week. For someone with like a busy schedule and lots of moving pieces, and maybe your day to day isn't the same every day, this has just been so helpful. And I'm not an early morning person. So with my new job, I have to be there at 7:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I knew that on those mornings, I wasn't going to go to the gym in the morning because I would rather get up around 6 and spend my morning like with having my quiet time and just getting ready for work for the day, and just having a little bit of a slower morning. But I planned on those days to go later in the day, like right after my morning shift, or some days I've even gone in the evenings and I've really enjoyed it. It's been really nice. Whereas before, if I didn't have it on my calendar, it may get to the evening and I'm like, I'm just not going to go. I'll go do it tomorrow. But since it was on my calendar for the day, and I had to make time for everything. Sometimes I just went in the evening when I had more energy than at lunchtime or something, and it's worked out really well. So that's something I highly recommend if you're struggling with like anxiety around the gym, or like how often to go or when to go, or your routine is different day to day. So it's just a constant like, oh, should I go today? What type of workout should I do? Like, get a desk calendar. Write down all of your current commitments. So when you work, when you have, pre-planned things with friends, we have like a small group one night. I have the walking group walks. Like put everything on your calendar you've already committed to. And then you can see which time blocks are still open and available. You can plan when you're going to go to the gym. You can plan, dates with your significant other. You can plan to have maybe a night or two during the week where you don't have plans, and that's your night to kind of just stay in and chill and relax, recover, because that's super important too. And then the other thing that has been helpful with getting busier is I already had been working on my daily habits and my non-negotiables. So working on taking my supplements every day, working on eating a good lunch every day, and doing for the chiropractor, my spinal home care exercises at least once a day every day. Um, and so I've still been able to carry over those healthy habits and remember to like have my quiet time in the morning, take my supplements. I take my supplements at lunch. It's just easier time to remember to do it because that's like a more consistent thing every day. So anyways, when I started learning about the winter arc and how it's a time from October to January 1st to go ahead and start working on your January 1 goals so that by the time January comes around, it's like not this big scary thing. I was like, oh, I've been doing that naturally the last few weeks, just like putting my head down, getting disciplined, getting good with time management, scrolling on my phone less, and just really focusing on being disciplined and doing the things that I plan to do, keeping those promises to yourself. So, anyways, jumping into the winter arc, let's talk about it. If you don't know what it means, it refers to a period where individuals use the coldest, darkest days of the year as a means to refocus, pre-visualize, and arrive at their desired destination. That is straight off Google for you. I think someone posted it on their Instagram. Someone else on Google says winter arc is going dark and emerging a beautiful butterfly, but in a really manly way. Winter arc means New Year's is October 1 now. So for some reason, a lot of the winter arc trends are about like men doing like intense bodybuilding or like being super manly and disciplined. But there's also a bunch of women doing the winter arc too, of course. It doesn't have to be just for men. Um, but I really like how they say that winter arc is um means that New Year's Day, January 1, is now October 1. So like people are starting their kind of New Year's goals or New Year's resolutions, they're not waiting till January 1st anymore. They're starting when it starts to get cold, which here is in October, obviously. And so I just think that's cool because normally about this time, it's when we'd start to maybe get a little bit lazier. Because it's cold, you want to stay like cozy and curled up on your couch and watch Gilmore Girls and drink hot chocolate or hot tea or whatever hot beverage you want. Um, and we tend to, especially here in Tennessee, get seasonal depression in the winter because it's so cold and dark and days are short. You go to work and then you go home and then you just eat and sit on the couch and watch TV because it's cold and you got to go to bed soon. And I think that seasonal depression is a really big thing here. But if you use this time and you're like, okay, the days are darker, colder, shorter, how can I take advantage of this time and use it for my own benefit so that by the time January 1 comes around or spring comes and everyone starts to get ready for summer and has all these like bikini body goals and whatever, like you don't have to worry about that because you've already been doing a healthy lifestyle and working on your goals since October 1st. So I just think that's a really cool concept. So another person said, the winter arc is a concept that refers to the period between October and January. During these months, many people experience a change in their mindset and well-being. And I also think it's because you're coming off of summer, you've been traveling a ton, a lot of people go out a lot, maybe been partying at the beach or whatever. And it's easy to get out of routine and I mean, it's summer. It's important to enjoy your summer, to be with friends and family, go on vacations, go to the beach, be outside, eat good foods. Um, but then by the time we finally like get to fall and people start kind of just refocusing on work and getting into more of a normal swing of things and normal routine, it's like, okay, it's time. We're ready to get disciplined, get refocused, and start working towards our goals again. Gymshark says, here's where the winter arc comes in, helping you set your goals, get into your fitness routine, and have it pretty much nailed by the time January arrives, making a lot less scary and more manageable, making it a lot less scary and more manageable. And I think that puts it so well because I mean, last year I feel like January 1st just was not a thing. Like as far as people getting pumped about their goals and their fitness, it just seemed like a lot of people weren't about it and weren't into making goals and were just kind of over the whole New Year's resolutions thing. And I think that's because we know that those normally don't last. A ton of people fled the gym January 1 and then they're all gone by the third week of January, right? And so moving it back to October 1 and looking at it as this whole season of discipline, I think it gives you a lot more of like a start and an end date, which is super helpful. We're going to talk about setting your goals for your winter arc. It's important to have it time bound, which is part of SMART goals. So what actually is the winter arc that everyone's posting about? Basically, the rules are different for everyone. You can create your own winter arc rules. It's kind of like 75 hard, but making it your own, like setting your own guidelines for what your winter arc rules are. But it just comes down to being disciplined and consistent. And a lot of the times it's about the gym, nutrition, mindfulness, and self-care. A lot of people talk about being on their phone or social media less, working on not doom scrolling, and just being more conscious that time is a resource and really working on their time management skills and doing things that are more productive, even if that is sitting and meditating, you're not necessarily doing something. But it is better than just watching TV, binging for hours. And so when you are setting your rules or your goals for your winter arc, you just want to be sure that you set SMART goals. It kills me when I see these people posting their goals or their winter arc rules. And it's like, I want to be on my phone less, or I want to wake up early. I want to go to the gym more. Well, that's probably not going to happen unless you make it specific. So, a SMART goal is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. So, I already mentioned the time bound one. So, saying, okay, I'm going to do these things from now until January 1st. That gives you an end date in sight. Not that when January 1st comes, you're just going to quit doing all of it and go back to an unhealthy lifestyle, but it keeps you motivated to be as consistent as possible until January 1. And then you can decide which routines and habits you want to continue and which ones you could maybe be a little more relaxed on. But time bound, so specific, you have to say, okay, I want to wake up by 5 a.m. every morning. I want to go to the gym 4 times a week for at least 30 minutes each time. um, make it measurable so that by January 1st, you can see if you have followed your rules and achieved your goals. Because if it's not measurable, you're not going to know if you're making progress. And so many times we'll have these like standards in our head for things that we're trying to achieve, but we don't actually know if we're improving and getting better and achieving that unless there's a way to measure it. So, having a way to measure your progress is super important and will help keep you motivated. So, obviously, attainable. You don't want to have 20 rules and you've never done any of those 20 things before, and you're just all of a sudden going to start being super, super like crazy disciplined with all of it. I would say it's okay to be a little bit extreme with some of them if you're like really motivated and you're ready to whip your butt into shape, but try to make your things attainable so that you don't feel like you're failing constantly, because then you're just going to give up. So make it pretty attainable and realistic as well. Um, and then you'll have some great rules for your winter arc, some great goals. So, like, I haven't necessarily written out here are my winter arc rules because I just have these habits that I'm constantly working on improving. But I would say the things I have been doing is going to the gym 4 times a week to do my split that I'm doing. And another thing is having my quiet time every morning. I'm doing like a 2-year Bible reading plan through my church, and we read 5 days a week. So I'm only 1 day behind right now. I need to catch up, but that's one of the things I'm working on is reading the Bible 5 times every week. And I try to journal and pray when I do that as well. And then, like, taking my supplements is just a daily habit that I'm always trying to be consistent with, like I mentioned. And then I do have an Aura ring, and I recently switched it over from the activity goal to the step goal. So it does kind of change what my step goal is every day, depending on my energy levels, how I slept, how many calories I'm burning that day, all of that stuff. But that is one of the newer things that I'm trying to look at is hitting that step goal that the ring sets for me every day. So that's a really fun one. And I'm sure there's a few other things, but I always try to get around 7.5 to 8.5 hours of sleep every night. So I definitely have this lifestyle and these habits kind of already in place. I've just been a lot more disciplined because of having to manage my time really well the last few weeks. And then joining the new gym has made it really motivating to go and have good workouts. So that's really all it is from now until January 1, really focusing in, locking in, as they say, getting disciplined, getting consistent, and setting these kind of daily habits that you're working on every day for yourself. And then by the time you get to January 1, it's kind of like the Sunday scaries. Like, you don't have to have the Sunday scaries if you spent your Sunday really preparing yourself well for the week and knowing that you are ready to have a great week. So plan like today what your goals are from now until January 1. And then when January 1 comes around, you're not going to have the New Year's resolution scaries where you feel this pressure on yourself to make all these big changes and do all of these things all at once. You'll already have been working on your goals and hopefully achieving some of your goals that you set out to do in October. And so I'm recording this podcast on Thursday. It'll come out tomorrow. And as of tomorrow, which is today for you, Friday, October 18th, there are 75 days left until January 1st. So you have 75 days left of your winter arc to focus in, work on your goals, create some healthy habits. And then the last thing I would say is to have a weekly check-in with yourself and with your spouse if you have a spouse. I like to do check-ins on Sundays, and me and Brett have some check-in questions we go through just to make sure we're really connected and in tune with each other. But then we also go over our calendar and our budget, and I will make sure that my calendar is correct and looked over and planned out for the following week. And then we'll go over any budget stuff we need to go over. And then Sundays are also when we get all of our chores done so that going into Monday, we've got our meal plan, we've got our groceries ready for the week, we've cleaned the apartment and done our laundry, all that fun stuff. And so when you're going into your week, you can just focus on getting your work done, getting to the gym, eating the right meals that you plan to have, and you're really just set up for success for the week. So that's the last thing I would suggest with your winter arc is to have those weekly check-in times, um, ideally on like the weekends when you have time and just getting your chores and everything done for the week, making sure your calendar is set. You've written on your calendar when you're going to go to the gym and all that good stuff. You've planned your meals for the week, gone to the grocery store, all that good stuff so that you can have a successful week. And one more thing, I know we've talked a little bit about time management and planning your calendar. If you really want to have a successful winter arc, or really anytime you're going into a season of like really focusing on certain goals and prioritizing certain things, there are gonna be other things that you have to say no to. There are gonna be some things that just don't align with your goals and aren't gonna serve you well in this specific season. So, October through January 1, um, maybe do a little bit of self-reflection and take inventory of all the things you've said yes to, the people in your life, the habits that you currently have. I know for a lot of people, it's doom scrolling on social media or binge watching TV multiple nights a week, but be willing to replace some of the toxic or unproductive things with the things that are going to help you achieve your goals. And so you are going to have to set boundaries. You probably are going to have to say no to some things that aren't serving you in this season. And it doesn't mean that it's forever, and it doesn't mean it has to be um like super extreme where you isolate yourself and you don't go to any social events. Like, I would not suggest that. You need friends, you need time to relax and be social. But there may be times when you have to say no to something like that every now and then, or you go out to eat, but you don't maybe eat the same way everyone else is eating. So just be conscious of that, that there will be boundaries and things you may have to say no to for now. Um, and then when January 1 rolls around, you can decide again what habits you've created that you want to continue or that you need to keep working on, and what you want to continue to leave out and say no to. So that is it for today. Thanks for listening to my just thoughts about the winter arc. I hope it's encouraging and motivating for you for the next few months to just really take advantage of the 75 days we have left of 2024, which is so crazy. And if I can help you in any way to start now and to go ahead and start working on your goals and your habits and preparing to have an awesome 2025, then please reach out to me. Let me know how I can help you, encourage you. I have 4 different tiers of one-on-one coaching. I have individual health coaching calls that we can jump on. So there's lots of different ways that I would love to serve you and help you reach your goals. So check the description on how to reach out to me, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Space for Grace podcast. Be sure to check out the description for any links or resources that were mentioned during this episode. And if you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a review. I hope you're leaving today educated, inspired, and ready to flourish. This is Space for Grace.